You know, my grandparents raised 3 kids right here on this piece of property. And the first one they started with was my father, and he was born in 1920. And that would make him today, if he were alive, it would make him 100 years old, if my math is correct. But after my grandparents passed away, I had a chance to read a bunch of letters that my grandmother wrote. And she began almost all of her letters with a phrase, something like, I hope this letter finds you well. And so, borrowing a phrase from her playbook, I hope this video finds you well, and I hope that we can have just a few minutes distraction from all the stuff that's going on around us right now. And if you're watching this video many, many years from now, you won't have a clue what we're talking about. But anyway, let's see if this guy here, this Marlin model 1895, see how he's going to behave. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll spend some time at the range, and every now and then we'll reconvene out in my shop back in Houston, or here at the farm in Louisiana, where I'll build some fun projects, and we'll share an adventure or two that'll make even a grown man smile. You know, if you're caught up on my videos, you'll remember this Marlin model 1895 4570 that belongs to my friend Keith. And you know, we had some real issues with this rifle, but those are all behind us now, and we're actually getting to put him through his paces. So pretty excited about this. And you're wondering about that. You're wondering about this thing right here? We'll talk about it in just a minute. But I need to get some more targets set up. Oh yeah. I've got it. Oh, oh. I got to put you down for just a minute. Sorry about that. But I wanted to put up a couple more targets that we could shoot at, and those are actually 2.5 gallon water jugs, and I've got them turned end to end, so maybe they'll make a bigger splash. And we've got that 5 gallon bucket that's full to the brim with water, and so that ought to make a pretty good splash as well. But if you hang around to the end, I've got another 5 gallon bucket, and it's got a surprise in it. And so if I can, we'll get around to that here in just a few minutes. Well, back to the scope. I gotta tell you, I like it. And I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute, but let's get this let's get the important business taken care of. What do you say? just enough bullets. You know, if you live in the South or the Southeast and have got a pig problem like Southeast Texas, where Keith lives, or here at this farm in Louisiana, then feral pig control is not a sport. It's all about pest control. And so when Keith said he wanted to put a scope on here, I had no idea what he had in mind, but I got to tell you, the scope that he picked, this Leupold VX Freedom 1.5 by 40 fire with the Firedot MOA reticle. There you go. That was a mouthful. It's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad on this Marlin lever action rifle. And as I said, at the end of the day, Keith's plan for this rifle, as well as, and I understand this perfectly, is pest control. Let's see if we can hit that steel down there. Oh yeah. I think I want to shoot that again. These hard cast bullets really ring that steel, don't they? All right. Okay, I wanted to give you a closer look at the Leupold VX Freedom 1.5 to 4 Firedot MOA ring scope. That's a mouthful. And also the QR rings and base that Keith picked out. It's a really nice scope. By now, as you can tell, I've shot it quite a bit. It's the right choice for the kind of work that Keith is going to do. And so, yes, he's going to lose some style points putting a scope on a lever action rifle. But the reality is this is a tool for him, and I completely understand. There's times when we want to follow tradition, and then there are times when we want our tools to be sharp. And in this case, this is really going to be a good addition to the scope for the intent, for the intended purpose. And so, I really like the quick detach system. It's really easy, unlike the way you grew up. It's actually lefty tighty, righty loosey on those levers, and so don't get confused. But it's just that easy to take off, and just like that. And it's just easy to get back on. It sits down there really nice, and then just with a fairly brisk but not super tight or super strong force, you get it back on there. And Leupold claims some level of returned accuracy. And so let me just read what it says. This system assures that your reattached scope will return to its precise zeroed in position. Now, precision means a lot of things to a lot of different people. And so what I'd like to do, and I've got a couple of targets set up right here, and I'm going to get things shifted around here, and I'm going to shoot a 5-shot group at both targets. The first one I'm going to shoot just as the rifle sits right now, and then I'm going to take the scope off, put it back on, I'll shoot another group, and we'll see if the center of the second group shifts from where the center of the first group was. And then if you'll remember, I've got a bucket coming up, a surprise bucket, or a surprise in a bucket. And so stick around just a couple more minutes. It may not even be that long, and we'll see what's inside that bucket. Okay, I'm fixing to load up, but I want to show you right there at the end of my hatchet handle is the 50-yard target. So let me get loaded up, send some rounds down range, then we'll take the scope off, put it back on, and shoot another group. Okay, we'll let the barrel cool off just a little bit, so we'll get back in just a minute. Okay, we got the barrel cooled off good. Let's take the scope off using the QR rings. There you have it. All right, let's see, let's get her loaded up, shoot another group, see where the second group lands. Okay, let me go bring those targets back and we'll talk about what happened. Well, there you have it. This is the first group. We've got one flyer up here. And I'm going to say the center of that group is about right there, and the center of this group is about right there. So that's pretty darn close. Okay, so now I'm going to go set up that bucket. Okay, here's my son-in-law's 243, and we got in the same place our 50-yard target down there, and let's see if we can find the surprise in there. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.